Hi guys, it's Jerry. So Language Files 11. So I read the first two sections obviously, and then I chose the third section to read. So some of the things I thought were really interesting in this chapter were one, when it talked about colors, that in certain languages, certain colors aren't like taught, and then cited how I can't remember the language, but the one language, the color for yellow and orange was the exact same. And so, in a study done when yellow and orange were both presented, people who spoke English were able to differentiate between what the yellow one was and what the orange one was. But the people who spoke the language that taught that yellow and orange were the same couldn't. And I mean, that makes total sense as they were never taught. And it just, that was really interesting to me because I don't know if anyone's ever heard it, but the is my red your red kind of thing. Like, granted, we all think red is the same color, but what if the color that I see as red is different from the color of red that you see? But we've just been taught that what I see as red and what you see as red, they're the same thing, although they might be a different color, are called red. And it was actually talked about in my biology class earlier this year, and I just thought it was kind of like that. But another thing I thought was really interesting is that like language can dictate how you feel about a word. And I was talking about masculine versus feminine, and English kind of is separated from that because we don't really have genders in our language, whereas other languages do. And I remember I was in Spanish class and I said to somebody, and I was like, really think a table is feminine. Like, do you look at a table and think it's a girl because the table is la mesa? And my Spanish teacher would say, yes, I do look at the table and think it is feminine compared to other things. And to me, like, just growing up in our culture, I've never like experienced a masculine versus feminine nouns to anything. I would never consider a table male or female. I don't know what I would consider. I consider it just an object. But at the same time, it's different in other cultures, and that's what the chapter was talking about. The last thing I wanted to talk about was the last portion when it talked about sign language. I just found it really interesting that the Deaf Center of Milan opted to instruct deaf kids on oral speaking and based on like lip reading rather than sign language. And granted, I don't know a lot about this, so I'm just taking what I say with a grain of salt. But I just found that really interesting and kind of counterintuitive that they're not truly understanding of lip reading, and I don't really know how it would work. But I just feel like you could do so much more with sign language versus that, which I guess that's why it said in history that in 1970 that it switched back to sign language altogether. So those are just some things I thought were interesting. Thanks.